For those that, again, that don't know who I am, I'm a relationship trauma coach that's out of New Jersey. I'm certified. And tonight I want to just talk to you a little bit about grief, but I want to go at it from a little bit different direction because some of the grief that individuals go through is based upon kind of giving up on life because as you're out here and you're meeting people, you're going to meet some people that their mindset is that they pretty much have given up on life. They've given up on possibly ever meeting someone and having a relationship. They've given up on, family. They've given up on a lot of different things. And whenever you give up on something or you lose something, there's a part of you that's lost. There's a part, not, and I'm not saying loss but there's a part of you that you lose in that process or during that journey. But there are four things. I'm gonna go over real quick as the entry to this. There's four things or stages, I would call them, that you're going to end up going through if you're the type of person that is going to end up going through grief in your life. And grief is something that, in order for it to take place, you have to be the type of person that you've had some type of love, that you've been a person that has found individuals, you found either people, places, or things that have come into your life, things that you've fallen in love with, and you've opened up your heart to. And in the process of you opening up your heart to people, places, and things, what's going to happen is you're going to end up getting hurt because those people, those things, those whatever, at some point, the business is going to shut down. Your animal is going to pass. Your mom, your spouse, or whomever. We're going to lose people, places. We're going to lose things. And the problem where the challenge comes in is because when we've invested a lot of our heart into people or into a business venture or into whatever else it is, now we got to deal with the repercussions of understanding that because of the investment, because of loving, because of opening up our heart and offering our heart to something, being in a place where we're open and receptive. And that's a big thing because, I meet, being in this field, or I'll say I'll talk to numerous people or various people that they're in a very cold place, and they're in a cold place because instead of them going through the process and going through and grieving and learning from their experience and staying open and pliable, or staying in a place where they could change and grow and develop, and many people, when they go through heartbreak and hard challenges, they pretty much give up on life. And so they get this pessimistic attitude where they don't believe that there's any good that can come out of it. And I had a friend on one of my other social medias, and she responded to a post I put up, and basically she said that today, and this is kind of where this lesson came from. It's one of the pieces that kind of, when I was meditating this morning, it came back to me. Because of how she responded to something that I said. I'm going to reread what I said, and I'm now to give you a glimpse into what she was talking about. So the first thing is that when you open up your heart and you love anything that you bring into your life, and you love it, you're passionate about it, you're giving your heart to it, your mind to it, your soul to it, you're dedicated to it, you're committed to it. When you lose that thing, you're gonna go through grief, whether you realize it or not. This is part of the reason why I'm sharing this lesson, because there's many people that are in grief and they don't realize that they are grieving. When I first recognized grief, it was based upon people that were around me. I had a son that was going through a grieving process because of a friend of his, a girl that he was seeing, she passed, and also around the same time, my dad had a stroke, and then on top of that, the church that he had built for, let's say, 60 years. I'm going to say 60 years. It probably might be longer than that. He wasn't able to keep it afloat because this was around COVID and all these different things were going on. And so that had to end up shutting. So he had a couple of different things that were going on at the same time. And so I saw the way that he was grieving. I saw the grief. I understood the grief, because then a little bit while after that is when I went through my particular situation and my divorce, and I had a business that I had losses in, and just a lot of things. It was just like one thing after another. And so through all these experiences that were going on around me, my eyes kind of opened up, and I saw just how much, or how grief really affects us and affects our lives. And again, it all starts with how you are and how open your heart is to people, to places, and to things. And I say places and things because there's people that their love is money and power and things along those lines. So because that's their love, if they lose something, if they lose something in that field, these people feel like they've lost it. They're at the end of the world. So they were, that's why like I often use the example when you hear about the story of people jumping out of windows and cities because of the stock market crash. And I'm just saying this as an example. It's because of they just felt like they had nothing else. They had nothing else to live for, to go on. And they didn't see any need of thinking in terms of starting over. You don't know how because of all of the time and energy, you just don't know how much someone is truly invested in one thing or another. But the way that you can tell is the way that they grieve and how hard they grieve based upon that loss of that thing. So the second thing is, because you loved, you will lose. Whenever you love something, you will lose it. It's going to happen. It's part of human nature. And my mind goes to a story. I was watching another creator on Instagram, and this is a guy that's similar to like a Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza, or Dr. Bruce Lipton, one of those type guys. And he was having a one-on-one call that he kind of taped and he posted it up on his page, which everybody could kind of see it. And this one young lady that he was coaching or kind of talking or counseling, she began to explain a lot about her life. And as they were going through the process of excavating her life and looking at all of the things and all of the nuances and things that had gone on, she ended up they came to the conclusion she came to the conclusion that she never felt like she was loved as a young person. She didn't have parents that were loving to her. She never had the experience of feeling love from humans. And so she basically, what she ended up doing is, at a pretty young age, she made a decision to love animals. So what she did was she adopted or had two dogs, and she raised these dogs from very young to fully grown. And she had just gotten a diagnosis that one of them was going to expire. It's like they had a serious illness, and it wasn't going to be much longer. The dog, and she was on this in this video, and she was crying, and she was grieving. She was pre-grieving. It's like she was prepping her grieving for what was inevitable and what was already going to happen. I can relate to that because before my divorce, I grieved it before I understood what I was doing, because I knew it. I saw what was going on. I saw what was happening. And I just didn't know how to change things or how to get out of these things. And all of this stuff was a little bit different than where my mindset was, or what I had known up to that point. I was grieving what I had, what I thought I had, until I understood that I didn't really have anything. Um, and so the first thing is love. When you love something, if you're open to love and you open your heart, you will lose something. That's the second thing. You will lose something. The thing with losing things is, we can look at it as a loss, or we can look at it as a lesson. Just because you lose something, whether it's a business, whether it's money, whether it's a relationship, whether it's, you know, whatever it is, there's generally a lesson in that loss. And so because we go from love to a loss, and then from there, automatically you drift right into heartbreak. Because when you lose something, you will go through heartbreak. Your heart will be broken. You will be sad. You actually will be hurt about what has transpired and what has happened. And heartbreak is actually measurable right now. They're able to measure it, and they put names to this, to different conditions that happens when you're in this type of when you're in this position. When you go through heartbreak, they call it heartbreak syndrome, where because of the pain of the loss of someone, or because of the pain of you know of divorce or breakup or whatever, people end up going through having actual scar tissue on their heart, because of the fail, or the relationship is no longer in existence. There's no longer going to be in existence. And so because of that, there's automatically, that heartbreak takes you right into grief, where you're going to grieve. And the thing with grief, and I said this a little bit earlier, is that many times you're in grief and you might not even know it. It's something that I felt like it's almost like I felt like there needed to be a clarion call or some kind of massive call to let people know that so many people that are walking around us that look healthy, that look fine, that look like everything is okay, are actually people that are walking around and they are grieving. They're grieving things that they have never dealt with. They've never talked about. They've never taken the time to evaluate or to figure out, but you'll see signs of that they're in grief because they have real short fuses. They're very angry. Their life is unstable. There's a lot of instability. There's a lot of confusion as far as different things. It takes them down a slippery slope. But one of the signs, and I wrote about that in my book, one of the signs of grief is that the individuals generally will stay in a place of anger. Anger is one of those stages that many people that never get out of grief, they stay stuck right in anger, and so they're very angry people. So when you meet very angry people, a lot of times it's because of they've had heartbreak, and because maybe they didn't know how to get out of this and change their life, they're stuck in grief. That's why I'm putting out this lesson to help people get out of this phase, out of this stage. So I wrote a quote and posted it to a couple of my on social media. And the quote reads like this: It said, "I would rather grapple with the pain of grief because I have loved than to never have loved at all." And so what I was saying through that little quote or poem or whatever is that, to me, I would rather keep my heart open and love and experience love, because many people that look at love, they don't really understand. An example of love that I was talking about, there's sometimes individuals are coming from the relationship mindset about love, and so they're closed off from it. But love is something that, to me, it's important for us for it's part of our makeup as people. It's part of us experiencing other people around us, to love and to be open to other individuals. To not live in a box and to separate ourselves from everybody else, but to understand what it is to love and to be open to love other people. And so when I wrote that quote from the mindset you know of where I am and what I believe. I would rather keep my heart open, believing that because I've changed and I'm no longer in the same condition that I was when I got married in my 20s, um, that I'm going to meet different. That I meet different people. I'm not even attracted to the same style people. And I'm not saying same style as far as look. I'm talking about the mindset and the mentality of the individuals. Because when you go through healing and you grow and you start doing a lot of introspection, you're going to see things about yourself that are not right, things that need to change. You're going to see the things that you want versus what you don't want, the things that are going to work versus the things that are not going to work. And so she said, after I put that post up, I got a response from a follower, and she was like, "Oh, I wouldn't want that." And so and I can only guess because I didn't ask her, probably her opinion or why she said that is because she was coming from the vein of thinking in terms of love, as far as you're dating someone and that, and instead of understanding, like I said a few minutes ago, that I'm talking in terms of love in general, loving people, loving your animals, loving, your job, loving whatever. And so because of that, you are going to go through it regardless of if you want to or not. And with that being said, there's a couple different things. There's a couple different things that are directly connected or keys to understanding if you have a broken heart syndrome. And I'm going to go over like 4 or 5. I'll go over 6 of those real quick right now. And so the first one is caused by any breakup that you go through. And the breakups are generally, it's based upon you meeting someone and you dating them for a while, and maybe you even get to the point where you marry them or you fall in love, and when you fall in love with that person, in order for you to fall in love, you've opened up your heart and you've handed your heart to another person. And so when you do that, when there's a breakup, this is why it's so hard to figure out how to get back to yourself after the divorce, because you've given of yourself so much to another person, which there's nothing wrong with that. That's part of life and experiencing life. This is why I said that quote, because part of that quote to me is either you can grapple with grief and the struggle of it and the hardship that's part of it, or you can, because if you're willing to grapple with that and struggle with that, then that means that you're still alive, you're still living, you're a person that's not given, you haven't given up on life, you haven't given up on the possibilities of a relationship and on love and all these different things, but you're in the place where you're still open to those things, you're still receptive to those things, and so the first thing would be caused by a breakup. um so if you go through a breakup, there is a chance that you could be in the condition where you have, a broken heart syndrome, and it can actually be measured where they put your heart on a. I mean, they can measure it based upon, you know, I'll say an X-ray. That might not be what they use, but they actually can see the difference between a heart that has been broken versus a heart that's not, based upon the scar tissue and the swelling and the different things that take place when this happens. So this is actually a study, and it's actually been proven. The second thing is if you go through extreme financial loss, and see the challenge is that many times you are not going to go through one situation in your life. You're going to probably go through the breakthrough or breakup with someone. You're going to go through the financial loss. You're going to be in a place of the third thing, in a place of fear and extreme anxiety. So it's a snowball effect. So because of all of the different things that are hitting you at the same time, it's almost like you're hitting that speed bag, boom, 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 boom. So time you get done one thing, you're getting hit with 10 other things. And so before you know it, your heart is, you're in a very hurtful place, and you're in a place where you need help. But the thing is, you don't have to stay in this condition. This is why I'm sharing this information. I'm offering my help to those that are going to watch this video. Reach out to me, and I can show you how you can invest a little bit into yourself, and you can change your life from where it is. You can change from being a person that's in grief to a person that's whole. You can change from a person that doesn't that's not clear on the direction that they should go to someone that is clear on what are your next steps. Because I'm going to give you an action plan, action steps for those that I feel like are someone that's going to be serious, and that's going to take the coaching serious, because there's going to be commitments that you're going to have to make, as far as as well as myself. And so the third thing was, if you have a loved one that passes away, if you have a loved one that passes away, that's hurtful. It's painful, again, because of how much you love that person. How much of yourself have you given to that person? Another way that this broken heart syndrome is created is by severe emotional stress. This is why you have to watch stresses. This is why part of my healing practice that I teach is, I teach certain breathing techniques that are absolutely critical, absolutely essential for you to go through your healing and to heal. That will help to regulate your nervous system, get your mindset right. It's going to affect you physically, spiritually, physically, mentally, and psychologically. It's going to affect your total, complete makeup of your body by learning to breathe the correct way, because most people don't know how to breathe, and no one has ever taught them. Unexpected, shocking news. A lot of times this stuff comes, and it's one thing after another, and it just compounds on top of another, and to the point where the person feels overwhelmed because they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do next because it's too much, you know. And so my question to you would be, how soon do you want to get the result that you're looking for? Are you in the place where you are ready to get the result? Are you in that place? Are you in that place yet? Or are you still going to try it on your own? Or are you still going to just try to wing it? I mean, you have that right to, but are you ready to actually take the steps that you need to get the help that you need to move your life on? Because there's so much time that is spent by not knowing what to do, by not knowing the steps. As an investor, I relied on, and I still do even to this day, I rely on other people that have done other projects and things that are larger than me and bigger than me, because their knowledge in the field that I am is sometimes larger than mine, and their knowledge can help you get to the end result faster with less hardships and bumps in the road because they've already walked the path that they're teaching. They're not trying to show you something that they haven't done. They're telling you and showing you exactly what they've done. That's why when I talk to people about my book is directly connected to my life. It tells my story. It tells of the struggle. It tells of the heartbreak. It tells of the grief that I experienced, and how through that grief I learned, and how through that experience I really learned what grief was. And I learned that there's so many people around me that are grieving things that they don't even realize, because they don't even understand that they are in grief. They don't know. They don't really even know that they're in grief. I didn't know. I dreamt it one night. And it showed me that I dreamt it just as clear. And it showed me to start studying on the topic of grief. And as I started studying on it, sure enough, I saw myself in what I was studying. I saw my behavior and why I was dealing with depression. I never was a depressed person. Never in my entire life. In my 50 some years at that time on this earth, I had never in my entire life been in any form of grief. For what? I thought people that grieved or that were depressed were weak. That was my mindset back then, before I went through the experience, you know? So this was beyond my control. I didn't understand about how our nervous system worked, and I didn't understand how that broken heart syndrome was an actual thing. I didn't know that. I really did not, you know. And so I often ask people, what else would you need to see to help you make your decision to get the help that you need? What other information would you need, or what else would you need to see? You know, that's the question. What else would you need to see? What else would you need to happen or see, or, you know, because, it's the type of thing of, are you tired of doing things your way, or doing things the way that these happen up to this point? Or are you ready to actually move on and change your life? And so that's all I got for y'all today. Appreciate y'all tuning in here. Thank each and every one of you. Like I always say, I believe in you, but you gotta believe in yourself. Thanks. Talk to you soon. If you're interested in getting the coaching, DM me, and you can set up a 15-minute call in my link tree and all of my social media, and I'll help you. I'll show you how you're gonna change your life, and how you're gonna get the result that you want. Have a great night. Like I always say, I believe in you, but you gotta believe in yourself. Thanks.